Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Hillstalk, episode 4. I'm so glad you're here today, where we talk about the Northeastern experience abroad and how they adjust and adapt and overcome. I'm here with a very special guest today who is passionate about music, but his story is much more than that. So whether you're in Dallas, Dimapur, or Delhi, or hey, somewhere else in between, sit back, grab a chai, relax, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Hey everyone, I'm here with my super phenomenal guest, Lunghar.
Hey, thanks, Alan.
How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm pumped. I'm excited for this.
Okay. I saw you were doing some push-ups before we started.
I know, man. I got to do it. I need some energy to get me going.
Yeah? Is there anyone that you're trying to impress with all these push-ups?
Oh, guess what? Someone's right there. You know it.
Oh, wow. Shout out to your fiance.
Yeah, she's here. Thanks for being here, sweetie. Thank you.
Oh, we love that. See, why can't we just all have that type of support, you know?
She's awesome.
Don't make me jealous. It's okay.
Your time will come.
I know, I'm praying. Lunghar, so for the people who don't know, right? What is your tribe? What kind of village are you from? Maybe the language that you speak?
Yeah. Well, first off, I got to say thanks for having me on this show. I have been waiting for this. It is exciting, and I'm excited to talk to you about different stuff. And man, I gotta say, this setup is legit. Man, thanks to Gwen, he's done a really great job setting this up. So, I am Lunghar Khan, and I belong to the Tangko community. And I come from a village called Dalui. We are about a little over 1,000 households in Ukhrul, Manipur. Yeah.
Wow. And just so the audience can get, I think you might want to maybe bring the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you say your village, you have to represent.
I know. Well, big shout out to Dalui now. Yeah, let's go.
Woo, woo, woo.
Wherever you're watching from, you're always in my heart.
Yes. And is there something that I could maybe learn to say in your language? What is one phrase?
Okay. Well, Ellen, I got to ask you this. Do you want to learn my village dialect, or would you like me to teach you Tangko?
Wow. Man, let's do both.
Because
Oh, yes. Come on, baby.
All
I'm
right.
ready.
All right, we're gonna start with my village dialect then.
Okay. And what is your village dialect called?
Dalui. We call
Dalui.
it Dalui. Yeah, that's my village. That's the name of my village, and we call it Dalui Diu, which is dialect. Translates to dialect, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Jishuna, Nida,
Nita,
Leshie,
Leshi,
Leshie.
Leshie.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Would you like to take a guess what it means?
is it I love you?
Oh, you are close. You are close.
No.
But it translates to Jesus loves you.
Wow, even better.
Jesus loves you.
I-
So, Jishuna Nidaleshie. Yeah. So that's my village dialect. If you would have to translate that into Tangko, you would say Jishuna
Jishuna,
Nali
Nelly,
Leshie.
Leshie.
Yeah. So it's pretty similar if you.
Yeah, so
tell.
Jishuna means Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah.
Wow.
So like Spanish, if you translate literally into English, the word is not in order.
Okay.
You can tell, but yeah, that's what it means. So Jesus loves you, and viewers, Jesus love you all.
Heart. Yes. And also more on the background side, right? Do you have any siblings? What are your parents from? What do they do? Maybe just so the audience can get like a clear understanding of maybe some of your upbringing.
Yeah, I have 5 siblings, and I'm the oldest of 6 of. And then, fun fact, my youngest brother and we have 15 years.
15-year gap.
We're 50 years apart. So sometimes he would look like my son. Yeah, and we live with my mom, my grandma, and yeah.
Okay. And is your family dynamics where when you were growing up, were both your parents working? Was it very busy? Or do you come from a ministry background?
Well, my dad, he used to be a government teacher, so he teaches in a school. My mom, he stays at home. He takes care of the house, and the kids we're all in school. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Was it a very active household?
Oh man, I like big family. I
Really?
enjoy it. I know some people say, "Oh, that's too much," but you know what? I love big family. There is always fun. There is always something going on in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you love big families, so how many kids would you ideally want?
Gosh.
Oh,
This is a really good question. Now, should I say this?
I don't know. You tell me.
If you're asking me how many kids I want,
Would you like? Yes,
I would say 8.
8. Oh my goodness.
But if you ask how much me and my fiance want,
Yeah, the one who was
we
actually
have
doing the
decided
work.
to meet at 4.
There's
So
still a
if
lot.
God willing, 4 kids.
Wow, you didn't want to try and meet somewhere and do 6?
Well, she wanted 2, I wanted 8, so I thought the good number is like, okay, let's meet at 8. Oh, 4.
She wanted 2, you wanted 8. So
Yeah.
let's meet at 4.
I think that's a good deal.
It depends on who you're talking to, but yeah.
I think I have approval.
You got the approval? Okay, man. I don't want to get you in trouble here. So, I'm still trying to wrap my head. 8 kids. That's a lot of rice.
That's a lot of rice.
So how did you end up in the U.S.? Can you kind of walk us through maybe your journey on how you ended up here, who inspired you? Or...
Yeah, of course. Well, when I was in college, this was back in 2018. I graduated with my undergrad back in 2018. And then I actually applied at Southwestern in 2018. I got accepted, but unfortunately my visa got denied. And then before I reapplied for my second visa interview, COVID happened. And
Oh, wow.
embassies got shut down. I couldn't reapply. So I went to Delhi and stayed there for about 7 months, and I started working. And I just decided, this is not going to work out, like waiting for situations to get better. So I decided to continue with my master's. So I actually did my Master's of Arts in Theological Studies in Bangalore, SciEx. And then I reapplied for my master's here. So I got here 2 years ago. This is my 5th semester, going into 3 years. So it's been wonderful. God's been faithful, man. I remember how much I prayed for God to open the door for me to be here. And I had a lot of questions, complaining, a lot of prayers. But God finally did open the door for me to be here, and I'm thankful.
Wow. And for most people, I think just to take the leap of faith to apply once is a big deal, right? But it sounds like you got rejected the first time, and you still kept on going. So what made you still continue to apply?
Can I actually tell you the story?
Oh, yeah.
This was my first professional interview, my visa interview. So you see, I grew up in a village. I don't speak very good English. I was over-prepared. I walked into the visa interview. The interviewer was a lady, very kind, very nice, very sweet. She started asking me questions, and I just blanked out. I didn't even know what she was asking. I was so nervous. And the only thing that was running through my head was like, oh gosh, I messed up. And yeah, true enough, I got rejected. But like I say, I really felt that I was called to be here. So I kept praying, and God finally opened the door for me to come here. And when I was in my college, I had professors who studied here at the seminary, and that's how I got to know about the seminary. And I had some scholarship opportunities, so that's how I started pursuing this. And yeah, God, at its own time, He opened the door for me to be here. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know with a lot of people, the visa and the paperwork are so complicated.
It could get really crazy sometimes. Yeah, it is. I mean, at the end of the day, it is still a big deal for anybody to come to the United States because of the immigration process that you need to go through. There's a lot of scrutiny in the process. But yeah, there are also myth. I don't know if I could say
myth, really?
That it is impossible for people to get a visa to come to the United States, which I think it is not true. I would say if you are a genuine student and if you're applying to a school that accepts you, then 90% of the time you're going to get accepted to whichever school you're applying to. But I would say the hardest obstacle is getting through the visa interview. That's the hardest, actually. So if you're applying and if you are a genuine student, then you shouldn't have a problem getting into schools here in the United States as well.
do you remember anything from your visa interview that you were like, the first time, like, oh my goodness, this is it. I'm not passing.
Oh well. Well, going back to my first visa interview, I think she asked me, "Did you took any entrance exam?" But I didn't know the word that she used to ask me, so I was like so confused, and I had to ask her, I'm sorry, what did you say?" Just like that.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, did you have to take any exam?" And I told her, "No, I did not," and that was it. Like, I got.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was she maybe like, oh, this guy's nervous. It's okay. No,
Oh,
nothing.
she could tell. I was so nervous.
But she
I was
didn't
so
care.
nervous. I mean, if you go to visa interview, you would see that there is no place for anybody to sit and wait for your turn. Like, you go to U.S. Embassy and you would see like hundreds of people lined up to take their interview.
Yeah.
So the interview typically lasts for about 3 to 5 minutes. So the
That's so
interviewer asks you 2 questions, 3 questions at the most. So there is actually not enough time for you to explain, like give them your case. So they just ask you what they want to know, and you have that short amount of time to prove them that you are capable or eligible to get your U.S. visa. So yeah, it could be a daunting process, but like I said, if you're genuine and pressing your case that you deserve to be here, then I think there shouldn't be any problem.
Wow. Okay. And now, by God's grace, you came here on the second go around. Thankfully, you didn't have to do a third.
I know. I wouldn't want to go through that again.
You're right. I would imagine not. So once you landed here, what was one of the biggest cultural shocks that you faced?
Well, there are a lot actually, but
I like how he sat up straighter. I don't know if the camera caught that or not, but you were like, well, let me tell you.
I know. So I landed at the airport, and one of my friends, Mateen,
Yeah.
he picked me up from the airport, and on our way back to the seminary, we stopped by at Fiesta to do some grocery shopping, and I was just looking at him. He was doing something. He was shopping, and I was just walking through the aisle, looking at those price tag on those vegetables.
Uh-huh.
I was like, it says, 50 cents, $1. Gosh, these are cheap. But which is actually not, because I was so disoriented, because the money value is just, it's very different, if you know what I mean. In India, you would go to a shop and it's like, oh, I want a kilo of potato, and you would like give them, I don't know, 20, 30 rupees. And I was so disoriented, and I thought it was really cheap. So that was quite a shock for me. So when I actually moved into my apartment, and when I get my supplies, I was like, oh, I need this, not actually realizing that I'm spending way too much.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had to.
So your first experience was a Fiesta, and you were just,
I know.
you thought everything was cheaper.
Cheaper because it says $1, 1.5. It's like, oh, this is cheap. These are cheap,
Yeah.
actually. But it actually is not. So, yeah.
And for some of the viewers out there, like Fiesta is actually a more Mexican supermarket. And so were you surprised when you came here, the amount of diversity that you saw?
Oh, yeah, I actually was. I was surprised to find out that you pretty much get everything like what we get back home, like yam, for that matter. Yeah, you pretty much get everything at Fiesta, and well, that's where all the seminary and all the broke people go.
All the broke people.
Yeah, it's cheap. Things are cheap. So, yeah, that's my go-to place for groceries.
Okay. Did you say that even for the people who are kind of adjusting when they first come here, I think a question that I often get is, hey, is it easier to find Naga food or maybe food from back home in the Northeast? Would you say it's fairly easy?
I would say so. The other day I was talking to my parents, and I was telling them, oh, we get akune here too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where do you buy akune?
Not that Fiesta sells akune, but you get soya bean, and then you make it yourself, and it tastes just like how it is back home. So they were pretty surprised. Yeah.
You make your own
We get
akune?
bamboo shoot. You know what? I actually don't like akune that much.
You don't like?
I know.
What about your fiance? Oh.
Yeah, you can tell. I don't like it, and she does not either. But we like bamboo shoot, pork with bamboo shoot.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's our go-to Naga food.
Okay. Now, how many years have you lived here now?
Um, 2 years.
Okay.
This is my fifth semester, so I'm going into my third year. Yeah.
Okay. Third year.
Yeah.
And with that being said, do you think with the cultural shock, right? The food and maybe the culture, what's one thing that you really really love about being here?
Wow. That's a good question. There are a lot of things that I really like about the American culture.
Okay.
But one thing, if I had to pick one, I would say people are very, very cautious.
Very
People are
cautious.
very mindful about what they say and how they treat other people because they don't want to come across as rude. They don't want to come across as mean. And I really appreciate that. Sometimes I don't think we as a Naga we think about that all the time. So that's one thing I really appreciate about their culture.
Mm.
Yeah.
You said that maybe here people are more mindful
Yeah.
of what they're saying.
Yeah, what they're saying, what they're like, how they present themselves to other people, because America is very diverse. There are a lot of people from other countries, and they're very inclusive. And people feel you just walk into a bunch of American people, and you already feel you are part of them. It's sometimes it could be the other way around. We are very welcoming, but at the same time, it could be hard for other people to really get to know our culture. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that could be the problem. Yeah.
Okay. No, I think that's a very good observation. And on the flip side of that, do you think there's one thing that us as Northeasterners do really well that maybe our American counterparts could learn from?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think I really appreciate our culture when it comes to community because we are very community oriented, and you can tell all of us who are in the States and Texas, for that matter, we have our own church, we have our own community, and we gather together very often. We gather over dinner, and when after dinner we will linger around. Like we spend a lot of time with each other together. We help out one another. So I think that is something that I think American culture can also learn from our culture, Alan.
Do you think that they are you? Do you think it's more of a lack of that connection? Because when we talk about our community, it's very big, right? It's like our uncles, aunties, cousins, things like that. And do you think like maybe on the American side, it's more on the nuclear side because they do have the community, but it's more immediate.
For sure. Yeah, I think I think I agree with you on that. Also, another reason is could be I think American culture is very individualistic.
Okay.
I mean, you have your own life, you have your own job, you take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? But for us, Naga culture, even if we don't know each other, if we find ourselves in another culture, we just click, right? Because we're Naga, I'm Naga. Sometimes we would speak the same language. We would have, let's say you speak Nagamese, I speak Nagamese. So there's a common language and there is that bond between us. So I think that is also another reason that just keeps the bond stronger.
Oh, wow.
When it comes to our culture, yeah.
Get that kind of that familiar roots part.
For sure.
And to kind of step into a new topic, I know you said you were passionate about discipling young people. What do you think, based on your experience, like working with so many of them, why do you think that matters in today's society?
I'm sorry again. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah. So one of your passions, right, is discipling and mentoring young people.
Yeah, coming from a culture or coming from a church, because I know for sure that back home, a lot of our churches are set up in such a way that you go to services on Sunday mornings, and that's pretty much it. Like, there is no discipleship, there is no mentorship, there is no intentional pursuit for your church members to grow spiritually. So when I first got here, in my first semester, I took a class called Strategies for Discipleship Making, and man, that class just blew my mind.
What was the class?
Strategies of Discipleship Making.
Okay.
That class just blew my mind. I thought, okay, as a Christian, we need to go to church, and that's what I've been taught to do. So I go to church every Sunday. But what's after? You know what I'm saying? So here in American church, here in America, they're very intentional about, okay, it's not just about you going to church. It's not just about you professing that you're a Christian, but actually living that out in your daily life. How are you spending your time in the Word? How are you spending your time in prayer? And at the same time, how are you spending your time with other believers? You need people to come alongside with you and hold accountable to you and, pray with you, like do Bible studies together with you to push you and let you grow spiritually. So, man, that has really blessed my heart, and that has really, changed my perspective on living a Christian life called to disciple other people. So it has been life-changing, I would say. Yeah.
I think to add on to that point, there is more of a intentionality with
Yes.
fellowship when it comes to the older adults, I guess, because back home, maybe in India, there's Sunday school for the younger kids, right, where they can go get group and things like that. But for the adults here, they don't have that Sunday school, at least back home, they don't have it, but here they do. Do you think maybe that could be a driver that we could start adopting?
I think so. When it comes to this discipleship area, I think there are a lot of things. We need to catch up a lot.
Oh, we need to catch up a lot.
We need to catch up a lot because, like I say, we don't have anything that is towards discipleship. So, like I say, of course, we have Sunday school. We have Sunday morning services. Even if I'm talking about my church back home, you would just go to church on Sunday mornings, and then that's pretty much it. Like, you spend the rest of the week doing whatever you want to do, wherever you want to go. There is really no intentionality in taking time out to pursue one another, to grow in your spiritual life. So I think, yes, Sunday school is one for sure. And like I say, small groups coming together as a small groups outside of church, gathering together as a church and studying the Word of God, admonishing one another, and just discipling one another. I think that is something that we really need to adopt if we want to grow as a disciple of Christ.
Interesting. I think that's almost like there's almost like an irony there. And the reason why I'm saying that is because as from a northeastern community side, right, like maybe one could say that we're more communal, right? We're more close-knit, we're more familiar, things like that. But here, it is almost presented an idea that spiritually we are not as united as maybe our Western counterparts because we are not intentional in fostering those relationships outside the church environment, right? Which I think that was a very interesting point. Do you think maybe that lack of spiritual intentionality, and I think I'll bring it towards the youth.
Yeah.
Because I think that's your specialty, right?
That's a word, Alan. Intentionality is a word. Yeah, you have to be intentional to grow.
Okay.
If there is no intentionality, it just becomes a routine. It just becomes something that you just do every Sunday. So the intentional is I like how you phrase it. Yeah.
And do you think maybe from like a youth perspective, I'm curious to hear, do you think some of the struggles that our youth face maybe back home might be different than some of the struggles they face here? Or do you think they're still the similar theme?
Man, that's a really good question, Alan. I think we are all, as a human, we are all sinful.
Yeah.
We have all fallen short, and it doesn't matter where you are. We all struggle with that. We all struggle with our sin, and I think we all go through different struggles, different problems. But one thing, if you ask me to point out, I think here young adults in America go through would be I would say isolation. I think because here the system is set up in such a way that you need to get a job, you need to be at school, you need to provide for your family, you need to provide for yourself. So I think that kind of sometimes push you to a point where you're isolated from community and you're just left out. So that could be one of the problems that I see here in America.
So from the American side, isolation would be...
Isolation, yeah.
Okay. No, and I totally agree. I see that a lot because it is such an individualistic culture and you are forced to grow up so fast, right?
I mean, you have to move out from your house when you're 18.
Yeah. and which is not everyone, but a lot of
I
people
agree.
do. So it does add that pressure, which is unique to them. And I wonder, well, maybe not in different cultures as well, but I wonder if on our side, the youth side, we maybe might not have the economy to drive towards that.
Yeah.
So, what is one thing that in the Northeast, from your opinion, youth struggle with today, and maybe how can we overcome that struggle?
Man, we struggle in a lot of areas, but one of the major struggle I would say for the youths in our community would be, I think, lack of resources and opportunities, but also which leads to unemployment, and which in turn leads to people, when people don't have a job, when people don't have source of income, they get into bad group of friends. They started, substance
Right.
abuse, alcoholic, and addiction, and all those things happen. I think that is one area that young people in Northeast India are really struggling. Yeah.
And then how would you? Obviously, this is a very complex
Oh,
problem,
man,
right?
yeah.
So I can't imagine. But based on your experience and what you've seen, what do you think is something that maybe we're missing, or maybe a tool that can kind of help us overcome that? And I know it's a super difficult question.
It is a very difficult question because there's no right answer to this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because families are responsible, churches as a whole are responsible, the government is responsible, but if you ask me, I would talk from the perspective of family and church. I think family needs to, the root cause of it is not knowing Jesus, not realizing your identity is in Jesus. That's the root cause for sure. But if you're talking practical wise, I think the family needs to step up. Family needs to bring up their children in the knowledge of the Lord, teach them. And I think even for that matter, even churches needs to come together to create awareness for young people and tell them, hey, if you take this path, then your life is going to look like this 5 years, 10 years down the road. But if you pursue this, then you're going to be successful. If you follow Christ, if you surrender your life to Christ, your life is going to look like this. So I think as a church, as a family, we also have the responsibility to teach our young adults, our youths back home, to give them awareness, on the difficulties of all this situation.
No, absolutely. I also like your response as well, because I think it also shows some of the cultural differences, right? And the reason why I'm saying that is because I've lived here for, man, almost close to 2 decades now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know it's been a minute.
Here a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And from your response too, it's very like communal. Hey, the family needs to get involved, and then the church needs to set the systems to make sure we're leading our youth. Versus for me, when I was thinking of, man, if someone asked me how I would answer that, I was thinking more of an individualistic side. Right?
That makes sense.
But like, okay, we need to give them purpose to go pursue something,
Right.
because they're lacking that purpose. Like, it's very individual. Versus you're coming in more from a communal angle, like the family and then the church, and then the community needs to step in together. So I think that's very cool, and there's also displays the cultural differences.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, there are a lot of good things about being individualistic, being in an individualistic culture. But I'm a huge believer of life happens best in community. Yeah. So, I mean,
No, absolutely. And with that being said, do you think there's something that our youth back home that we do so well, right, that maybe our American counterparts could also emulate?
I don't know if you would remember this since, I mean, you've been here long enough, and I don't know if you would agree with me on this, because back home, it doesn't matter, like, whether it's church social work, village activities, any kind of work, you call upon the youths, they're going to show up. You know what I'm saying? They feel the responsibility, they feel the obligation that they need to contribute to the society, they need to contribute to the church. You don't necessarily have to be spiritual, go to church every Sunday, but when you are called upon, I think there is that sense of obligation, there is that sense of, oh, I need to serve my community, I need to serve my church. So when you're called upon, I think that is something very beautiful about our culture.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's almost
Here,
like
well,
no,
yeah,
go ahead, go, no,
please.
no, please.
Here, I don't see that happening here. I mean, there maybe up to some extent, but I think we see that a lot more in our culture.
It's kind of like it's your obligation, even if you're not religious. Go do X, Y, Z.
Exactly. I think here, like, if I don't want to do it, I don't care. Like, I don't have to do it. Maybe I don't care. It's not the right word, but I don't have to do it if I don't want to do it. But back home, you feel that obligation. Sometimes that could be bad. You know, being obligated to do everything.
Right.
But I think there's that sense of obligation to serve your people and to serve your community. And I think, yeah, that is something that I really appreciate.
Yeah, no, I think that's such a
Yeah.
good point. I think one thing that I also really enjoy, just to build off your comment with the obligation, like the children's services that we do on the Christmas program, they're very involved, like the youth choir, and then they go on with the dramas and the skits and all that stuff.
Good memories.
Yeah, and even when they have a church program, you often see the youth, at least from the churches I've been to in Nagaland, come together, like they're cooking the food, like the momos or whatever, and arranging everything.
For sure.
Which I have not seen as much here. Or if it was, it's like you said, like a select volunteering group, but not, hey, the whole youth people.
Not the whole.
Yeah. Wow, that was very good. Now, moving on to a more spicier topic.
Yeah. Some juicy questions.
Some juicy questions. Now, I hear you're engaged.
Yes, I am, Alan.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
And with that engagement process, right, your fiance, is she from your community?
Actually, she's not. I'm engaged to an American.
Okay.
Yeah, she is behind the camera right now.
Oh.
Her name is Allison. Man, she's wonderful. She loves Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to Allison behind the camera. Yeah. No, literally, like she's literally moving the camera to look at me right now. This is crazy. And so, how did that love story kind of start? Like, take us down.
Okay.
Give me hope.
Give you. Hopefully, this will inspire you to.
I'm taking notes.
Well, when I first got here, her dad used to work as a director of our international students in at the seminary.
Okay.
So that's how I met her parents before I met her. And then I got invited over dinner at her place on Thanksgiving, and we were seated across the table with each other. And that's how we really got to know. And she started coming to my church. She started school at the seminary, and that's how we met. And yeah, it's been wonderful. She is awesome. I love her.
Wow. So you met her parents first.
Yes.
And then you met her.
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's almost a kind of very yeah.
It's kind of, you could say, her dad introduced us.
Her dad introduced you guys.
Yeah, her dad. He's a wonderful man of God.
Wow.
Very loving. Love the Lord. He's a pastor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did you know of her when you were friends with the dad? Like, did you know he had a daughter?
No, I did not. They have three daughters.
Okay.
She's the second. But no, I met her first time when on Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah, I think that's the first time we met.
Wow. So it wasn't only the food you were looking at. You were looking at something else
Not
too.
only the turkey. Man, I was so nervous.
No.
I was literally shaking. But she was kind enough to lead the conversation, so which kind of helped me, like gather myself up. But yeah.
And would you say, and with that, I mean, dating in the American culture, right? Yeah. Was there some challenges that you had to face, or maybe like learn that was like, oh wow, this is not how I do things back home, but because I'm here, I have to do it a certain way?
That is some really juicy question, Alan. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we cannot take away the fact that these are both different cultures, and I'll be honest, there are some challenges to it, but we love each other, we love Jesus, and that's what keeping us going. And she respects me a lot. She cares for me. She loves me, and I do the same. And that's what the Bible tells us to do, like to love each other just as Christ has loved us. Not taking away the fact that it is hard, but at the end of the day, we're called to serve each other. So we try every day to serve each other, love each other, respect each other, just as Christ has loved the church. Yeah.
And what's with that? Because I'm sure, right, as more and more of us come and then settle down, make families, there's going to be a lot of blending of different cultures, right?
Sure.
And it is very, very difficult. There are a lot of unspoken things that people go through.
Oh yeah.
And so, what would be like some of the hardest things about that process? Maybe some practical tips on how to overcome it. No,
Good question.
love guru.
Alan, I would admit though, like I say, we've had our share of problems in this relationship. But you know what? I've kind of realized that most of the problems has come up because of me, actually.
Oh, okay.
I
That's
would
very
admit.
humble of you.
We are in the process of working through things, and like I said earlier, I think we Naga as a culture, I think our culture is very dominant. Like it,
Very, very what?
very dominant,
Dominant.
very dominant.
Oh,
So,
what do you
like-
mean by it?
like when you are in an American culture, let's say I'm a Naga, and even if I'm around American culture, my culture shines, my culture dominates in a way that, like I said earlier, we are not very mindful about how people would perceive things in the way we present ourselves, in the way we talk, and sometimes that come across as rude in the American culture. Let's say, for example, this is something that I really want our people to understand too. Let's say when we gather together, we just start talking in our own dialect, and we don't realize that there are other people who don't speak our language, and that could come across as rude in American culture because you don't acknowledge their presence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think we don't do that intentionally, though. We don't. It is not. We don't come from a heart that wants to be rude or not intentional at all. But I think a lot of it also has to do with cultural differences. But mostly, I think it also has to do with our heart posture, not really thinking through what other people would think about how
Yeah.
we're acting and saying. Yeah.
No, that's actually a really, really good point that you bring up, because there's not many of us. We get excited.
Yeah,
We
for
see
sure.
someone. We're like, hey, da 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 da. But again, as it goes to the integration of cultures, right? We do have to be mindful of, hey, we have other people who are maybe from different cultures who maybe not speak the same language or maybe not do certain things that we do, and we do have to be mindful of them.
I mean, our Naga culture, it is very inclusive. Like we welcome other people, other culture. But like I said earlier, it is really hard for other people from other culture to really get into our culture because, like I said, our culture is very dominant. Lack of thoughtfulness, and my suggestion would be, it is important for us to be humble. It is important for us to be mindful about what other people think because we are Naga, but we are in America. Like we need to be aware of other cultures as well. So
Wow. And that's such a tricky balance
it is.
to walk, because it's almost like you're proud of your culture, you're trying to show it, but at the same time, know, like this is not, where your land. So you have to almost be polite. You have to be polite, actually.
Oh, for sure.
And when you're, yes, especially even in a relationship, it gets even more complex. So, what are some things of maybe a funny moment
Oh, okay.
between y'all two that that kind of happened for you? Maybe you were eating with your hands, and she was like, "Oh, that's kind of what's happening here."
You know what? Actually, she has learned how to eat with her hand.
Oh no way! Really?
Yeah,
Oh, kudos to you.
I know. She's great. You couldn't tell that she's American once you start eating with her hand.
Wow.
Yeah, but I will tell you though, uh, one of the major, let's say to me, differences about our culture is that you see, I grew up in a village, so
Okay.
I would butcher a whole chicken, I would butcher a whole pig, and then touch the raw meat and just leave it out in the open, and I would start touching things.
Mm-hmm.
We will cook them, we will eat them, we will enjoy the food. The food is great, delicious.
Right.
But it is not the case here. She does not do very well with raw meat. So one day, kind enough, she was trying to cook chicken. And me, as a caring, helpful fiance, I stepped in to help her. I touched the raw chicken, put it in the freezer, and without realizing, I started touching things. Gosh, that was the scariest moment of my life. She freaked out. I got kicked out of the kitchen.
Oh no.
So yeah, some things like that. Things like that. We don't really think about hygiene. You know what I'm saying? Like we touch raw meat, we don't think about washing our hands with soap. But yeah, that's something that I have to learn. I had to learn the hard way.
And even when you guess move to more of the serious aspect now, because you guys are engaged too, is there tricky because our culture, the way it's oriented is the family is very involved in asking this, and then
Yeah.
maybe the aunts there is very involved. Some could even say too involved. Who knows? Uh, so was there any of those tricky dynamics you had to navigate, or maybe there were some things that on her side of the family that they did that you were like, oh wow, this is so surprising. Like we never do this kind of things.
I'm trying to think of one. But I mean, for sure, eating with our hands is one for sure.
Yep.
Like we sit around the table and we just eat with our hands, just grab whatever we want with our hands.
Right.
But that's not the case. That's for sure is one major cultural differences I would say. Man, I'm trying to think of one really good answer to that. But from the top of my head, I can't think of any.
So I think some answers that I've kind of heard
Yeah.
is that with American dating, right? Because maybe it might start a little earlier, and it's more open.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I'm going on a date with XYZ. I'm picking her up, and it starts very early, like middle school.
Yeah, I see.
I mean, maybe some even in elementary school, and it's very open. You're meeting the family. You're going to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You're spending Christmases together. Versus in the Naga culture, it's more reserved. We
Yeah.
move very slowly.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you just don't invite if they're coming over, and then you know you did.
I hear what you're saying.
It's kind of serious. Like something's going on.
Yeah, it is. It is. You start doing those, and you will become the talk of the town.
Yeah.
Everybody start talking about it. You know what I'm saying? But here in the American culture, I think there is that sense of respect from their parents to their children. They respect their decision. They're adult. They make their own decision. I mean, they still give them advices, but they respect them enough to give them space and make their own decisions. But on the flip side, in our culture, even if we are 30, our parents wants to like tell us whom we should marry and whom we should not. So that is also a major difference when it comes to all that. And like you were saying earlier, yeah, it's pretty early. Things gets pretty early here in America. Like, and I think that it is also because people mature way earlier than our culture. I think because people are more independent here. So you are just when you once you turn 20, you are pretty much independent. Like you have your own job, you pay your own bill, and I think that makes you set up for, okay, I am ready for relationship, I'm ready for marriage. But in our culture, even if you're 20s, when you don't have a job, you still live with your parents, and that also gives a lot of pressure on us on making that call. Yeah.
Because it maybe almost feels like, hey, it's not my decision because I still live with my parents.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah.
Awesome. And moving on to maybe a slightly heavier topic. Now, this year has been a tough year.
Yeah, it has been out.
And I'm sorry about to hear your father's loss. How, with that happening, especially living abroad and you're hearing that news, how did you kind of navigate that?
Man, Owen, I would admit it has been really hard. Just given the fact that the kind of relationship that I had with my dad, and just not being able to be there for my family and grieve with them, and it even gets worse because we were going home in a month to see my family, and we were all excited. He was excited to see us, but then we booked our ticket. But then, just 1 month before we leave for India, things happen. So yeah, it has been hard, but I have really learned to be grateful for what I have. A lot of my friends, church, and especially my fiance, they've really come alongside with me and really helped me get through this. And that does not take away that things have been hard, but that gives me a new perspective on, okay, this is God's will. God is still in control, and I've just learned to be grateful about what I have.
And your visit to India,
Yeah,
that must be tough. Like 1 month before. Oh, did you feel that brought healing or maybe a different sense of perspective being back home?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, I would say, a mixed emotion for sure, because I am bringing my fiance home to introduce her to my family, which I wanted to do to my parents for sure, my mom and my dad. But then things happened about my dad, and it was kind of hard actually.
Absolutely.
And then we flew into Manipur, and there was riot that was going on, so we got stuck in the airport for like 2 days.
You were stuck in the airport for 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It was, man. That's what I tell her, man. If we shoot a movie about our trip, people would actually want to pay to watch the movie. It was like we were going through some like Middle East war zone.
Wow.
Yeah, it was tough, but man, going back to your question, yes, it did. Just being able to grieve with my family, just being able to spend time with my siblings, with my mom, my grandma, and just being there for them was it did brought healing. Yeah, for sure.
I think that's very important, because a lot of the times when we move here, there's a lot of opportunity, right? A lot of education. There's so many new things that maybe from the system wise, job wise, food wise, there is so much better in a way, right? Like there's more, they're bigger, but oftentimes we leave behind that family, and it is until then that you face that kind of loss. People are now have to face the reality that, man, it's really hard to go back home. I can't just fly back and just one day I have to fly, then take a bus, and then go.
It is. We were actually talking about, okay, so how do we bring you so that you can be at the funeral? But I mean, it's impossible,
Right.
because because it takes 3 days, 2 days to really get to, so it was impossible. So I had to tune in online for the funeral. So it was hard. It was hard.
Absolutely.
But like I said, I appreciate all those people who have come alongside with me. I'm grateful.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember when my mom, my grandma passed away, I could just see how much hurt she had, right? Because in that instance, I think you want to go immediately and travel because it is your mom, right, or your parent.
Yeah.
But you can't because it's so the distance is so far, the
Oh, yeah, it
logistics,
is.
you
It is.
have to coordinate with all the relatives
is.
of who's picking.
It is.
Uh,
And I actually looked up, okay, how much it will actually cost me to fly out tomorrow. 7 lakhs.
oh my goodness.
I don't have that kind of money.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so, if you had to give a piece of advice for someone who is maybe going through that loss right now, or maybe might go through that loss, what would you say to them in terms of like preparation? Like,
Yeah.
hey, set this up to where I can hear the audio, or
Alan, I mean, we all go through losing someone whom you dearly love. And from my experience, no one can possibly do anything or say things that would feel that weight. But at the end of the day, I know that God is still in control.
amen.
And I know that I have spent enough time with my dad, talked to him about God, prayed for him, and I have learned to be grateful about the time that I spent with him. And also just surround yourself with people who can come alongside with you and pray for you, encourage you. I mean, of course, you need the time to be yourself and grieve for the loss, but don't ever isolate yourself and just be on your own.
Yes.
You need help, and there are a lot of people who are genuinely concerned and care for you, and you need those people to come alongside with you and help you get through this grief. Yeah. So I would suggest
Community.
community.
No, that's so important. And while you're to kind of the last question before we move on from this topic, and it's a heavy one, your job is to be a worship leader, right?
Yeah.
You're leading the congregation, you're singing these songs about joy and worship, and you're up on stage, so everyone's like looking at you performing. So how do you keep leading in that way when you're still grieving?
Well, at the end of the day, Alan, it all comes down to who I serve when I lead worship. That is not in any way taking away your struggles, your problems. But I also believe that when God has given you a responsibility to serve Him, He also gives you the strength to do it. So, I mean, I took 2 months off from serving because I also serve as one of the worship leaders at my church at Fielder American Church, and also serve as one of the worship leaders in Naga Church. So I took 2 months off from leading worship, took time off myself, reflect on myself. But every time I go up on the stage to lead worship, I can tell God is with me, and He has always given me the strength to point people to Jesus. So that's the most important thing. Like, I am not there to perform. I am not there to showcase my talent, but He has given me this opportunity to lead people and point people to Jesus, and that's all I'm there for. And I think God has used me in that area. So yeah, it is hard, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to who you serve and what you're called to serve. Yeah, it's awesome.
And then as we're kind of wrapping up and
Yeah.
coming to the tail end, man, it's been a wild ride from you not passing the first time on your visa
I know.
entrance to coming here, and then as navigating a interracial relationship too, and then the loss of your dad. Man, it's just been a roller coaster. And so as we're coming in and wrapping things up, a few questions I have. The first one being, with your involvement with the youth and stuff, if you had one piece of advice that you'd give to maybe your younger self, right, your community, what is one thing that they would focus on?
Well, just so you know, I like to think that I'm still young, by the way.
Oh, yeah, you're right, all right. Excuse me.
Yeah, if I would have to give an advice to my younger self, I would say, love the Lord, be humble, and be faithful and sincere in serving the Lord and following His will, and be faithful in what you are called to do. I mean, there are a lot of things that are important in your life, but to me, someone who loves the Lord. The only important thing, the only important decision that I can take in my entire life is be faithful to Him and just follow His calling. So that's what I would. And one thing,
Okay.
make sure you meet Allison when you turn 26. That would be the advice.
Meet Allison when you turn 26. To you.
My fiance, because I met her when I was 26.
Oh my goodness.
You didn't get the joke.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah. I
wait,
would
wait.
tell- hey, make sure you meet her when you turn 26. That would be the advice.
Hey, just wait. Just it'll get better. That's so funny. Oh, okay. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes another episode. Episode 4.
awesome.
Lunghar, thank you so much for your wisdom, how vulnerable you are, how open you are. I really appreciate
Hey,
it.
man, Alan, I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I was really looking forward to this opportunity. Man, it's been insightful, the things that we went through. But, man, if I had to really summarize this up, my life has been all about God's faithfulness. So if you're watching, I would like to encourage you to pray. And if you haven't surrendered your life to Christ, that's the most important thing. And that's the greatest decision that you can ever make. So make sure you surrender your life to Christ. The only hope, the only peace is found in Him. So yeah, thanks for having me, Alan. It's been wonderful.
Of course, of course. Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again so much for another episode of Hillstalk. I'm your host, Alan Jameer. Shout out to my wonderful director, Buen Seb. Woo-woo. He does not get enough credit that he deserves. So we'll see you back soon. Stay tuned and make sure you subscribe.